Okay, the first thing we're going to do to create the little metal tag on the card, which if you look right here, it looks really, it's kind of cool looking. I left mine shiny, and I also added alcohol ink to give it a little bit of a distressed or colored finish. The tape itself is very high polished silver, and if you're going to distress it, take off some of the shine, it's best probably to go ahead and sand it now before you actually do the embossing on it. Couple things you need to know: the tape has sticky back, and this is the side that will be up. I'm going to show you a sample of what happens if you forget to do the next step, which is mirror your lettering. I don't know if you can see it. I was doing some titles or some tags for some Christmas things, and every single one of the names came out backwards because I, of course, forgot to mirror them. So in order to set up to distress, you take and you put down either a piece of solid shelf liner, or if you are like me and you have the Amy Chomas embossing tool, which is right here, I'll show you what I use. These just for a little spacer. The mat comes with the embossing tool, so you're pretty much set up good to go. I took one of my most loved mats from my digital cutter and used it as that. The aluminum tape can be cut with the scissors, so I'm just going to cut a piece of it, and I'm going to place it face down on my mat. And I'm going to use blue painter's tape to adhere it. Now I use it at both ends, and I can also stick it down to the cushy little pad underneath, and that helps a lot too. It takes me just a minute. I should have torn it first. So I'll take a piece at the top, and put it down, and a piece on the sides, and another piece on the sides. Okay, now my mat's ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I'll set up my 2012 for the file that I'm going to create using the embossing tool. We'll be back to show you the embossing tool in just a second. I am currently working in Make the Cut software. However, this particular project can be done in Cricut Craft Room. It can be done on the Gypsy. Any of the digital types of media that you use to prepare your files, this can work with it. There's just a few tricks you need to know, and I'll talk about those in just a second. I have already opened an oval, and I sized it at 2 1/4 wide, which is this way, and 1 1/2 high this way. The next thing I'm going to do is go to my text and my fonts, and in MTC I can load just about any font on my computer. So I'm going to go to some that Andy just introduced us to. It's the creator of this software, and it's OpenPath, and I'm going to use a machine script, and I'm simply going to type the letters or the numbers 2012. They're single path, really sharp looking. I'm going to take them into my oval, and I'm going to arrange it and stack it. Align, stack. That puts it right in the center of my oval. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shadow my oval just a little bit. So I've selected it, and the shadow width about 0.1, and accept it. And everything you can see is on a single layer, which is just fine with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to cut it. I'm also going to duplicate that because I'm going to want to cut that eventually from a piece of paper, and I'll show you why shortly. But first, now that I've got this ready, set up, I'm actually going to flip my numbers. I'm going to go to Mirror, and they look backwards, but it's going to look really cool when I get it sent to the machine. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll meet you back at my machine. You're using a zing. what you're going to do is you're going to leave it the settings exactly the same as you would cut it. And the only thing you're going to do is no offset. So I turn off my offset. I'm going to use what you see is what you get, and I'm going to set my blade origin. This is really cool. Works great. It's a little laser light LED in there, and it just makes it so easy. So I'm finished with that, and now I'm going to cut my project. And I'm done. So I'll remove it from my, set my blade origin, and I'll take my laser light over onto my tape, come all the way down, a little bit over, and I'm finished with that, and I'm going to now cut my project. Move it from my mat. I'll show you what I have. Okay. It's very, very shiny, but you can see it even turns out right. Now, that sounds funny, that the letters are all, or the numbers are all the correct way. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this back in, and I'm only going to cut that first oval out of paper. So it'll take me just a second, and I'll be back. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is trim this down. I've cut my oval from a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to use that outer oval as my guideline for cutting. So, and you can just use regular scissors on this aluminum foil tape. It's wonderful. Kind of cool effect. So, I'll go all the way around. And then I'm going to very carefully peel off the sticky back. Takes just a few minutes to get it off. There we go. Now, on the back, I can see that inner oval, the one that matches up to this, and I'm going to simply adhere the oval, following the lines, to the paper. And I'm going to press it down very gently, and now fold my edge over to the back along the embossed line. And because it's so close, it doesn't get real lumpy bumpy in the back. If you don't want it that close and you still want it to fold to the back, you can actually clip it. Or if you're a seamstress, you've got pinking shears you're not using, you can do that. But it's much easier when it's all in one piece. It just kind of rolls. And there you have a metal tag for your cards. Now I think it looks kind of cool to put my brayer over it. It just makes those letters, those numbers that are embossed, stand out even more. There you go. Now you can see it. And then I would just use my alcohol inks to give it a little color, and it's good to go. I hope you've learned something that you can use in your card making, crafting, and you enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Until next time, bye.